Joining me now is Congressman Jim Sensenbrenner of the Judiciary Committee. He also served as a House impeachment manager. I remember this well because I was interviewing him then when I was on another network during all those shenanigans back then. Congressman, now you're one of the few sitting members of Congress who can speak to the last two impeachment efforts. What are your thoughts on what we saw today?
This is a farce and a sham. The Democrats keep on redefining what a high crime and misdemeanor is. Remember, this all started out with the president asking President Zelensky, quote, "Will you do me a favor?" Now, that now has become abuse of power, asking somebody to do them a favor. Now, you compare that with the Nixon impeachment and the Clinton impeachment, where there are actual crimes that were alleged. And both Kenneth Starr and the independent counsel in the Nixon impeachment outlined what crimes there were. Donald Trump has committed no crime, and they want to impeach him because he asked Zelensky to do him a favor. What a joke.
Pam Karlan, professor at Stanford University Law School, one of the top law schools in the United States, made this comment about abuse of power. Watch.
Drawing a foreign government into our elections is an especially serious abuse of power because it undermines democracy itself.
Undoing an election a year before the next election undoes democracy. 63 million people voted for Donald Trump. He was duly elected, and this cabal, which includes Nadler and Schiff, right from the time Trump took his hand off the Bible and started his speech saying the impeachment starts now, and the lawyer for the so-called whistleblower called it a coup. Well, democracies don't have coups, and I think we're protecting democracy by saying, hey, high crime and misdemeanor has got to mean something rather than this moving target based on focus groups that the Democrats are using.
But she keeps saying, as you heard in the soundbite, that the president was drawing foreign powers into the U.S. election. At one point, as I played in the Angle, she's referencing the Chinese, the Russians, and the Ukrainians. So to draw foreign interference into an American election, that's a classic definition of abuse of power.
Well, I don't think the president was doing that. With Ukraine, we have a mutual legal assistance treaty. And Joseph Biden, when he was bragging about the fact that he held up $1 billion of aid to Ukraine unless they fired the prosecutor within 6 hours, he was doing something that was more abusive when he was vice president than Donald Trump has ever been alleged to. Now, we have this MLAT with Ukraine, which means that if Ukraine has evidence of any violation of law by a U.S. citizen, they are to cooperate with us and vice versa. Now, it's not just getting the prosecutor fired. There are questions about Foreign Corrupt Practices Act violations.
Well, apparently the Democrats want to throw all that out the window now. That we should just write checks to foreign governments, foreign countries, regardless of corruption, despite the fact that Fiona Hill is supposed to be the be-all and end-all of stopping corruption in any foreign country. So that's the thing that's amazing. If you're running for office in a future presidential election and you do something that is perhaps not kosher when you were vice president, then you can never be investigated. Apparently, you can never have questions asked about you. It's full immunity. That's what's amazing to me.
Well, it is amazing. And if Joe Biden were not running for vice president, he'd better lawyer up because I think he would be in big trouble.
Noah Feldman from Harvard Law School. He clerked for Justice Souter. I clerked for Thomas. It's my little, in my view, a better justice. But he was up there saying that the fact that the White House would not turn over a single document or email or text message or a peer demonstrates a obstruction of Congress, obstruction of justice that is very, very serious. Let's watch.
A president who says, as this president did say, I will not cooperate in any way, shape, or form with your process, robs a coordinate branch of government. He robs the House of Representatives of its basic constitutional power of impeachment.
Why should anybody turn over documents to a group of people that have wanted from day one to kick you out of office and to reverse what the voters decided in the 2016 election? You know, there's lots of attorney-client privilege. There is lots of executive privilege involved in that.
But did you hear that? He says it robs you and the House of your constitutional prerogative.
Well, the president has constitutional prerogatives too, but Jerry Nadler and Adam Schiff really don't care about them.
When I watched this today, it reminded me of why law school should have been like 1 year. Okay, because I don't know, you had to sit there and be lectured by people. What was it like in the room?
Well, what it was like in the room.
Nadler was dozing off at one point, and we caught him on camera.
Well, this was like an 8.5-hour law school lecture. Now, I graduated from law school over 50 years ago and was admitted to the Wisconsin bar. I didn't expect going to Congress would send me back to law school. I went to law school today, and at least the 3 Democrat witnesses, simplified everything on major constitutional issues.
Do you think that there are buyer's remorse from some of the moderate Democrats? You probably speak across party, across the partisan aisle every now and then with them. What's your sense?
Well, there sure is buyer's remorse, because the 31 Democrats who represent districts that Trump carried in the 2016 election think that because Nancy Pelosi is leading the lemmings off the cliff, they're going to be ones that are not going to be reelected. Because I think that the defining issue in the 2020 election is the overreach that Pelosi and Schiff and Nadler have done on impeachments. We need to have Adam Schiff appear. He wrote the report that the Democrats are using. Nadler had Robert Mueller appear to present his report. If Mueller can do that, why can't Schiff?
Congressman, have a good holiday if I don't see you.
And Merry Christmas
all right,
to you.
Merry Christmas. All right, coming up, revealing